Hi everyone, my name is Evan, and today I wanted to offer a short 30-ish minute practice that is going to focus on stress relief and anxiety relief, just connecting to yourself and your breath in order to shake some of the ucky feelings that you may be experiencing. Um, this has been a difficult time, as you all are certainly aware of. This has been a hard week for me personally. Um, I know a lot of my singer friends out there are feeling the stress as we deal with the realities of our industry and what we're going to be faced with in the coming months. So I wanted to offer something to help you through this time. I have been turning more and more to yoga and meditation during this time because it just seems to be one of the only things that can help. So all you will need today is grab a blanket or a towel. We're going to use that at the end in a supported Shavasana pose. Other than that, a mat is great. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can just be on a towel, and you can wear comfortable clothing. Honestly, this is going to be a very gentle practice. Going to be a lot of pretty accessible and gentle poses. So I wanted to make something very accessible to anyone who may be interested in finding some stress relief. So you can actually probably even do this in jeans because it's going to be pretty simple. So let's just get started. So come to a seated position, comfortable seat. You can be cross-legged or legs out or one leg out, whatever is going to be comfortable for you. You can also actually sit up on your blanket a little bit. This can be nice to get the hips up. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to do a breathing exercise that is going to focus on our inhale and exhale and actually making our exhale 2 times as long as our inhale. So a lot of times what happens when we are stressed is we get stuck in the fight or flight response. Our nervous system is really activated and we're in this state where our breathing gets shallow, we get really tight, we feel very on edge. You might relate to some of those feelings. I have certainly been feeling them in the last day or two. So this is a really unhealthy place to be for long periods of time. This fight or flight is meant to get us out of emergencies, like if a lion is chasing us or something. We're really not designed to stay in this fight or flight place for an extended period of time. So we're gonna this practice is really focused on getting you out of your fight or flight response and into a more calm and healing place for the nervous system. So we're tapping into our parasympathetic nervous system, if you are familiar with some of the science behind all of this. So to begin, we're going to start breathing in and out through our nose. And what we want to do is make our exhale 2 times the length of our inhale. And this action is going to calm our nervous system and help us begin to get out of the fight or flight. So close your eyes. Begin to focus on your breath. And before we jump to the 1 to 2 ratio, just begin by deepening your breath. Feel as though you're breathing all the way down into your belly, into your deep, deep belly, maybe feeling it going all the way down into your pelvis. Your ribs are expanding. It's really filling up on this inhale. And then the exhale, we let all of that air out through the nose. And then we begin again, filling up completely. This might feel sort of foreign to you if you've been stuck in a stressed, anxious place for a few days. So just feel how great it feels to take several really deep, full inhales and exhales. Okay, so now that we're a little more connected to this deeper breath, now we're going to add some counts to help us get to our 1 to 2 inhalation versus exhalation ratio. So to start, let's do a count of 3 for our inhale, and then a count of 6 for our exhale. So I will count you through this. So inhale, 2, 3, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep going on your own counts in your head. And stay with this 3 to 6 ratio, or if you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can go to 4 on the inhale and 8 on the exhale. And we want to do this ratio for a few minutes. We want to give our body time to feel what is happening as we manipulate the breath in this way. And if you can't do it perfectly, that's totally fine. The main point is to make our exhales longer than our inhales. And by doing that, we are going to be calming our system. What happens when we're stressed is we tend to take a lot of really fast, shallow breaths. So we're getting a lot on the inhale, but we're not letting the air out as fully. And that's when we kind of get that tightness in the chest, and that just kind of compounds the stress that we're feeling. So with this breath, we are reversing that action, and we're beginning to find a little calmer place. So do a couple more rounds on your own. And once you finish the last round you're on, just let go of those counts. Let your breath return to a more even flow. So your inhale and exhale are a little more matched in length. but keep that breath coming in and out through the nose and keep it deep and full. Great. Okay, blink the eyes open and just kind of notice how you're feeling. See if that changed anything. And keeping this attention to our breath, we're going to begin to move a little bit. So we're going to start with some torso circles. So pretty gentle movement here, just bringing some motion into the body and sort of gently getting into our hips, gently letting our spine explore the range of motion that it has. And you can really choose your pace. It doesn't need to be super fast. See how big you can make this circle. And then we will reverse directions, going in the other direction. Might feel slightly different. Staying connected to the breath as you do this. Great. All right, and then come back to center. If you're sitting on your blanket, just remove it for now. We're going to come to our hands and knees and take a few cat-cow poses. So set up so that your shoulders are over your wrists, hips over knees, and then on your next inhale, lift the chin and the tail. Exhale, round the spine, looking towards the feet. Inhale, chin and tail lift. Exhale, we round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Just notice any tightness, any sorts of impediments in this motion. When we are stressed, we tend to get very tight. So just notice how even this simple movement can bring you some relief as you begin to stretch out and move your spine in this really wonderful way. Come back to a neutral spine. Now we're going to go side to side, looking over the shoulder at one foot, and then take it to the other side, looking at the other foot. Still moving with the breath. And now can freestyle here. So I really encourage you to close your eyes if you haven't already. Take some circles, move frontward, backwards. Really listen in to what your body is asking you for. What kind of motions would feel the best here? Staying connected to that deep breath. And once you've had enough, take the knees far apart from each other and sit back, coming to a child's pose. Arms extend out in front of you, head comes down to the mat. And you're extending back through the hips, reaching them towards the heels. In this position, we are getting a nice hip opener. So this can be a pretty intense position because we end up a lot of times holding a lot of emotions in our hips. So just kind of notice as you stay here if anything is coming up for you. Breathe through it. If you need to let out a sigh, do so. Sending some breath into your back. Just let yourself be with whatever emotions, feelings come up in this position. We'll breathe for a few more breaths down here. I think it's really quite normal and quite human to be experiencing a whole range of emotions throughout the day in this time we're finding ourselves in. So we want to make sure to give ourselves the chance to feel these emotions, honor them, and not squash them down or tell ourselves that we shouldn't be feeling them. This is a difficult time and we need to honor what fears and difficulties come up for us, and by acknowledging them, honoring them, we can start to move through them. So walk yourself back up, and we're gonna come to a seat with our legs out in front of us. So once again, if you want, you can sit on your blanket here. Helps to get the hips up a little bit higher. And from here, you want to make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Crown of the head is lifting towards the ceiling. Raise your arms up and hinge forward. And when you come to a stopping point, just bring your hands down. Feet flexed. And we're going to breathe here in our forward fold. Forward folds are really wonderful for getting us out of fight or flight. They are very soothing for our nervous system. So I encourage you to close your eyes here. If you want to keep your knees bent at all, if that's more comfortable, that's totally fine. But see if you can find a little bit of release, a little bit of relaxation in this forward fold. The breath is still deep and full. You can feel it moving into the back a little bit more in this folded position. A few more breaths here. All right, and then slowly walk yourself up to a seat again. So staying in your seated position, I'm actually going to come off my blanket, but you can stay on it if you'd like. I'm just going to turn this way so you can see me a little better. So from here, we're going to do a seated twist. So bend your right knee, hug it in towards your body. Doesn't really matter how far it comes in. You can stay here or cross the leg over, whichever is more comfortable. And then raise that left arm up, turn towards the right, and come into a twist. Your right arm is behind you on the floor, right hand rather, supporting you as you breathe here. So with every inhale, imagine you're lifting your crown towards the ceiling, lengthening the spine. And every exhale, you sink into your twist a little bit more. So twists are really great for bringing some new energy into the body, When we twist, our internal organs are getting a little massage, they're getting a little extra blood flow, and this can help us move some stagnant, yucky energy around and bring in some new energy through this blood flow. All right, great. Slowly unwind, uncross the leg, and we'll take it to the other side. Taking that left leg in, or left knee in towards your body, cross it over if you'd like. Inhale, right arm comes up, twisting to the left now. Lengthening through the spine with every inhalation and twisting a little further with the exhalation. Using the breath to stay in the present moment. What I keep trying to remind myself is to not get ahead of myself in my thinking. It's really easy to start worrying about all the unknowns that we are currently facing and realizing that that is really not helpful. It's really not productive. What matters is the present moment. I'm safe. I'm healthy right now. That's really all that we can ask for, and that's all we can really know. So staying in the present moment can be a really great way to connect back to yourself. All right, slowly unwind. And finally, we're gonna transition to our backs. Make sure you have your blanket nearby still. Coming down onto the back, hug your knees in, give yourself a squeeze. You can grab the tops of your shins, or you can also just grab underneath your thighs if that feels better. Rock side to side a bit. And then bring both feet to the mat. We're going to get into the hips in a gentle way. So take your right ankle, cross it over the left knee. You can stay here if this feels like enough of a hip stretch, or if you want, lift that left foot off the ground, reach behind your left thigh, and breathe. So to deepen this stretch, we are drawing our left knee towards us as our right knee is pushing away from us. And this is going to help us get into the hips a little bit deeper. And breathe. Remember, like I said before, we can often store a lot of emotions in this area of the body. So it's good to get in there, stretch out the hips, release stuff that might be holding on. My yoga teacher that I trained with always said, we've all got issues in our tissues. And I think it's really true. We often end up storing a lot of gunk and negativity in our body. So by stretching, by breathing, by moving, we can begin to move some of that gunk out of the way. Okay, slowly release. Bring both feet back to the mat. Cross the left ankle over now. Staying there, or bringing the right knee towards you as the left knee is moving away from you. And breathing deeply, sending some breath into this left hip now. And just being in this moment, notice what comes up for you. breath is really the best way to stay connected to the present. I like to say our breath is the one thing that really is with us our entire life. We are always breathing, whether we're conscious of it or not. And it's really the gateway into the present moment. You can always come back to your breath, think about it, notice it, deepen it. As singers, we are often thinking about our breath when we're singing, and because it's really the life force of our singing, but it's really the life force of everything that we do. All right, release that down, hug the knees in again, and we're going to take a happy baby. So taking the feet to the ceiling, you can reach behind your thighs or reach for your feet if that feels good. Reach for the big toes or the insides or outsides of the feet. And breathe here. This is another great hip opener. I often find this pose really helps me release even further whatever last tension was holding on in there. Take a few deep breaths. Great. All right. So just rock up and down a few times. And then coming back to a seat, I want to show you a really wonderful supported Shavasana that I want you to try today. So like I was saying at the beginning, a lot of times when we're stressed, we get very tight and kind of tied up in our heart, in our chest right here. It can be hard to breathe deeply. We can just get that yucky, tight feeling. So one thing that yoga offers us are poses that we call heart openers. And heart openers can really open up this area if it's congested at all or tight or tense. And the result is that we can usually breathe a lot better. It also just can really help with mood and help you feel more open-hearted is, the term that we often use when someone is open and, I don't know how to say it, like exuding love into the world, right? And I think we can all agree the world needs a lot more love right now going around. So this heart-opening pose, what you're going to do is take your blanket or towel and you want it kind of maybe sort of this amount of folded, and then you're going to create a roll. So you're creating a roll that looks kind of like this. And you're going to take that roll, put it vertically on the top of your mat, and then we're going to lay back over it so that we're getting this heart opening position. So you want the bottom of this roll to be at the bottom of your rib cage. That's sort of where your bra strap is if you wear a bra. And then you're going to lay your spine back over the roll, and eventually your head will also be there laying on the roll or supported by the roll. So I'm lining up bottom of my rib cage, lining up my spine here, and then last my head comes down. If your head falls off the roll on the top, it's not quite long enough, so you might need to adjust it. And once you have found this place, your arms can just come out to the side, palms up. Your feet can stay on the ground, or if you want, they can come all the way down. And this is what we call a restorative yoga position. So we're going to stay here for several minutes in our Shavasana. And you really need to stay for a little while to experience the full benefits of a posture like this. So come into it, get comfortable, and begin to release down into your final resting position, bringing our practice to, we're winding it down. We're not quite done because we want to stay here for a few minutes. And this really is the most important part of the practice. This is the part where we can let what we've done so far sink in. We're going to let our breathing go back to a normal, involuntary state. Just let it sort of come back to normal. You don't need to focus on it as much anymore. And see if you can really melt down into the mat here and melt down over across your rolled up blanket. Imagine yourself just sinking into a puddle here. to come out of this, we're going to first just wiggle our toes and fingers, bringing some gentle movement into the body. And then can bend your knees and carefully just roll off of your blanket, roll to one side, come into a fetal position, keeping the eyes closed. We want to move really slowly to preserve our relaxed state here. And once you feel ready, use your hands to push yourself back up to a seat, keeping the eyes closed. And take a few deep breaths. Notice how you feel. Notice what sensations you're experiencing right now. Notice the quality of your breath. And to close, we will do one Om together. The Om sound in yoga is this wonderful representation of everything in the entire universe. So it encompasses all beings, all matter. It is the one sound that is supposed to be the beginning and the end. And I think right now it can be a metaphor for us and a reminder that we will get through this difficult time. We still have our voices. We can unite them even virtually across time and space. So bringing your hands to the heart, take a deep breath in through the nose. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Just know that I am sending out love to all of you and looking forward to when we eventually can be together in person, but just know that we are still together in spirit despite distance, and you are not alone. Check out my other videos. I have a growing library of yoga and meditation videos on my website, and drop me a note if you want to connect. All right, thanks so much. Bye.